Welcome everyone. In this spreadsheet tutorial, we're going to go over the ISODD and ISEVEN functions. We will be using numbers for the Mac. However, for the most part, this should work pretty much the same in Google Sheets, Spreadsheets, and Excel. Let's go ahead and get started with our first example. Here we have a set of numbers 1 through 10. To use the ISODD function, simply type an equal sign inside the cell and type out ISODD. In its simplest form, the ISODD function takes one argument as a number. So we'll go ahead and put in our argument, hit the check mark, and now we'll go ahead and drag this down. And you'll see what is returned for the ISODD function is either a true or a false. So if the number is odd, obviously it will say true. If the number is even, it will say false. The ISEVEN function works the same way. So we're going to type out equals, we're going to type out ISEVEN, put in our argument, hit the check mark, and drag this down. And just like for the ISODD, you will see a true for each even number. Okay? Okay, so for our next example, what we want to do is we want to take these numbers here and we want to sum only the even numbers. Okay, so let's go ahead and use our ISEVEN function to determine which numbers are even. Equal sign, we'll type out ISEVEN, put in our arguments, hit the check mark, drag it down, and we get back a true for any even numbers. And now we only want to sum the numbers if they're even, and we'll use our ISEVEN criteria here based on only the trues. So to do this, we're going to use a SUMIF function, and the SUMIF function takes three arguments, the test values, which are going to be these values here, the trues and the falses, the condition, which will be inside double quotes, is equal to true. And for the third argument, we put in the values we want to sum, which will be these numbers here. Let's go ahead and hit our check mark. And you can see that the sum for only the even values is 250. So that would be 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 90 is 100, plus the 100 is 200, plus the 50 is 250. Let's go ahead and do the same thing again, but for odd numbers. So we'll use our ISODD function, put in our arguments, drag it down, use another SUMIF. Again, the test values are these true-false values. The condition inside double quotes is equal to true. And the sum values are the numbers themselves. Let's go ahead and hit our check mark, and you can see we get 25, which sums only the odd numbers. Okay, so that would be 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 3 is 13, plus 7 is 20, plus 5 is 25. Okay, moving on to our next example. What we want to do here is we want to use the ISODD and ISEVEN functions to help us create a workout schedule. And what we want to do is we want to lift weights on any days that are considered odd. Okay, so you can see over here in our most left column we have some days and dates. And what we want to do is give each of these dates a specific number. So in order to do that, we're going to use the Weekday function. And for our first argument, we're going to put in the date. And our second argument, let's make Monday the first day of the week. Let's drag that down. Okay, so now we have some numbers to work with and to base our ISODD function off of. So in our next column, what we're going to do is we are going to put our ISODD function inside of an if statement to determine which days we're going to lift weights and which days we're going to do cardio. Okay, let's go ahead and create our formula. Let's start out with an if statement. And for the first argument in the if statement, the if expression, we're going to put ISODD. We'll put in our day number. And then next, we need to determine what message we want to display, if true and if false. So inside double quotes, if the day number is odd, we want to lift weights. If the day number is not odd or even, we want to do cardio. Let's go ahead and hit the check mark. Let's drag this down. Okay, so now we have our workout schedule for about the next 24 days. And as you can see, the days that have an odd number based on this column here are days that we will lift weights. And the days that have an even number are days that we will do cardio. Okay, so our next example is basically the same, and this will just kind of serve as review of what we just did. But in this case, we're going to use the ISEVEN function. So let's go ahead and put in the numbers for our days. So we'll use the weekday function, put in the date for the first argument, Again, we want to make Monday the first day of the week. We'll drag that down. We're going to go ahead and start out with our if statement. And our if expression is going to be is even. Put in our day number. And then we want to determine what message we will display if true and if false. So inside double quotes, if true, we want to put cardio. And if false, we want to put lift weights. Hit the check mark, drag it down, and we get our workout schedule. Very similar to the previous example. The only difference is in this case we use the ISEVEN function. Okay, so that's all we have for this spreadsheet tutorial on the ISODD and ISEVEN functions. We will be doing many more spreadsheet tutorials in the near future. Join us for those, and we'll see you next time.